Hi everybody, welcome everyone to my tutorial series in Kotlin programming language. In this tutorial series, I will concentrate on the Kotlin programming language. Kotlin is a language that can be replaced to Java programming language to write Android application, to use Java virtual machine, and can write browser application using JavaScript and native application. Okay, so it has some advantages like concise, safe, and friendly for using the tool, the IDE. So it has multiple library to use with Java virtual machine, Android, and the browsers. So in these two videos, I use IntelliJ IDE for learning Kotlin. But if you want to write an application in Android, you should use the Android Studio Canary tree. Then press to the instructions, and the installation is very easy to download, to click to next, and accept. Very easy with the use interface. The IntelliJ IDE, we have the version to the version of community ultimate, but I encourage you to use the ultimate version with multiple functionalities. You download this copy of installation file and save, and click next to install the IntelliJ, and you search for JDK or the Java Development Kit version 9. Then click to accept the license agreement and choose your best product for your operating system. Here I use a macOS High Sierra, and this is the Java runtime environment, or the environment to build Java application, and this is a Java Development Kit. You should download this file and run in your computer. Okay, so after install, you check for the version by Java version to see that we have the latest Java runtime environment and the Java Development Kit, or the JDK and JIE. So after that, you can open the IntelliJ IDE. Here is a community version. And wait a few seconds. You create a new project, and select the Java project, and select the version of SDK. I use a 9 version, and click to Kotlin Java virtual machine. So this file will support for Kotlin. Then browse to the project location. You create and give it a name or the project name. For example, I use a Kotlin tutorial is my project name. Create. So we see that we have the folder structure, of a source file, of a library file. The library connect to the library in Kotlin and connect to the Java development kit. I create a new file, Kotlin file, and give it the name of Kotlin example. And this is a blind file with extension key T mean Kotlin. And we define the package hello, and inside that I have a function mean fun. Fun mean function. The main function has input arguments, and the input argument is an array of string. So I define it as array string, and this is the content we print out to the screen. And after that, I add the enter, so it is called print line. We print line to the screen that hello world. So I right click and run the program. You see that the output here in the IDE very nice and fast. And this is version of IntelliJ IDEA is quite new, the latest version at this time. You can use the terminal inside this by clicking to this terminal and check for Java version and add some of the terminal commands. So if you want to debug, you right click and debug your program. Wait a few seconds. We see that is debugging line. We see that you can next to the next line and see the variable state. It is very easy to see, like in you work in Android. Okay. Hi everybody. Today I continue with the basic type of Kotlin. We have number, we have float, double, etc., and how to use some of the variable. So let's start with the previous lesson. Firstly, I use a var. Var is a variable. It means that you can change the value after you define it. For example, you can change to another value, then you print to the screen that is equal to dollar. A dollar means that you show a value or a variable. Okay, so what about we have another type, var, not var, and var. Var is value, and you can only assign one time. It like the constant. So you only can assign one time, and the second time you cannot assign it. So it is like constant. So what about the value with underscore for a very long number? We have the underscore like the point to distinguish between the value in sizes, so you can easily see the value of a long type. And L is a long. L means that this number is has a type of long, or you can assign it the value is a long type here, and not necessary because you have the L uppercase here. Then you print to the screen the credit card number. Okay, and run. So you see that the real value here do not show the underscore, but when you calculate, you can use the underscore. What about the nullable? Nullable means that this value can be nil or null. This can be null, and you do not need to assign the value after you define it, but you must init if you want to use or print to the screen or use it. You must assign to it a value or initialize the value to this. So if you add the value to here, a numerable in is equal to 20. Okay, and it is okay. So what about the conversion? Explicit conversion like casting. So we have an integral, and this is a value, and we have another bigger value. So we have a long type. We have a long type, and I assign to the int. So we have error because you cannot assign an int to a long type. You have to casting it or conversion or using the toString function to convert from a value to a long type. Then why it is error? Because you use the nullable. So here you must point to the question mark mean nullable. Okay, or can be null. Then you print out the along. We see that we have a long and run. So okay, so this is a conversion, or it is called explicit conversion. So you can convert a string, and so it is a string. We have a question, we have a double quoted, and inside this we have a string. And I want to convert this string to a float. So I set the type is a float and call the conversion and convert to a float type using toFloat, and print out to the screen about the toFloat. Yes, so you see that the converted without double quoted is a value of float. Okay, you can do similarly with two double. And for example, we have two value a and b, and I want to compare the value. I use the equal is compare to value, and if these two value has the same values, it is true, or a is equal to b, or the value of a is equal to the value of b. Okay, so we use the equal sign. And what we have another case, we have a z variable is 10, and we have a1 and a2 point to the same z, or assigned to z, means that a1 point to z and b1 point to z, and the three equal compare value and memory location, and it is the same. It is the same about value and the memory location, so it is called identical, or a is identical to b. So identical means that it has the same value and the same memory location. What is about the boolean? Boolean contains a value of true or false, or 0 or 1. So we have a and b here. So a must be true and b must be true, and the result will be true. Okay, a is true, b is true. And we also have the or. It is a or means that we have one of the two operand is true, then the value is true. So we have a two operand here, and we compare using the or, and or. So this is a value output, and you can know about the. Hi everybody, today I continue with string, char and array in Kotlin. Now let's start with the previous lesson, and now we do not need to use this code line, so comment out this, and I continue with as the first line. Let's start with the character or char. Char mean character or one string, only one string. Then we define a character. Remember that do not use the double quoted, because double quoted is used for string. Then what about the character? You have to change it to a single quoted. Okay, change to single quoted, and I run again. Okay, successful. Now you want to find some of the UTF-8 character set, and you click to this website. We have some of the special character, and for example, I want to use this one character or copyright, or the copyright character. You copy the code and paste to here, comment this to use, and then the C is assigned to U. U mean Unicode, so /U is Unicode, and you copy the code, and you copy the number of the code to here. You paste the number of code to here, and you can print out to the screen. Copyright char is equal to $C. Okay, C is a character variable, and you run. Okay, you see that it is a special character. How to display a special character in the output console log of the Kotlin. So if you have the name is a string that contain multiple character inside this, and you want to print out each of the character inside the string. So you for loop to loop on the character inside the string. Then print out the each character. Then each character here is some character in the string, and you run. Okay, so we see that each character is H, O, A, and G. Okay, this is very convenient if you want to pass a string and then check for some of the special character or specific character. For example, now we have a string, an array of string. So we have an array of string. Remember that the string has the double quoted. The double quotes represent a string. Okay, so we have an array of string and A, B, C, D, for example. And now I want to loop on string in an array. I use the syntax as a loop character in a string. So use print now and C. Okay, so we have a string A, B, C, and D to display all the string in an array. Okay, so it is similar to the string, the array of integer, array of float, tuple, and we have another array of integer. Integer we have size is a 5, and this is a function. It's called a no name function, or the anonymous function. The anonymous function has input and the implementation. The input is I, and the implementation is calculating 2 and times with I. Okay, multiply by I, and this is the implement of a no name function or an anonymous function. Then after doing this, we have an array of integer, and the value is 0, 2, 4, etc. So you pass and loop on the element inside the array, and the array, and I print out to the screen. Okay, so we have the value is in number 0, 2, 4, 6, and 8. It is multiplied by 2. Okay, and remember that the use of this anonymous function is very important when you want to pass and change the value of an item in an array. So now start with the text. How to display a text with multiple lines. We have 2, 3, 4, 5 lines, and this is the 3 double quoted is start and end of an the string with multiple line, and you print out to the screen. You see that we have 2 line 1, line 2, and remember to use it. But here I have a more complex. We have multiple information, and we start with this character, about one character, maybe any character, but choose a special characters, because you use this to trim marking, and you mark in by the prefix. The prefix means in left is prefix of the string. So you remove this by trimming. You call the trim function to remove unnecessary string, and we see that the special string is removed depending on the string marking. So use a string marking to remove some of unnecessary string inside a large string. Okay, hi everybody. Today I continue with the control flow in Kotlin, including if, when, for, and why. Let's start with the previous lesson, and here I continue with defining an if clause. If is a very simple and familiar for everyone. We have A and B, and you can check for A is larger than or equal B. I can check for A is less and equal B. If the value is 4, I can use else. Else means that the condition is 4. What can I do? And I print out that it is smaller than equal B. Okay, then I run the project and I see the detailed result as here. So it is a if clause, or how to use if to if then else. It is something like any other programming language. So if you have this means that if the expression is true, I get the string large, and if the it is 4, I get this string. Yes, and this is assigned to the variable a string, and it is automatically changed to string, not needed to use the type of string. And I print out to the screen that you have a string is large. Okay, and if you change the value of A and B, you can see the A string will be changed. Yes, and that is what about the when like a switch case in C. We have a switch is equal to 1, then blah blah, and default value is blah blah. Okay, so but when is more stronger than switch. Okay, so we have a character C is equal to A, and this variable is assigned to a when syntax, and inside the when syntax we have the case. The first case we have A. The input, the C, the character is A. If the character is A, or the case of character is A, the string will be first character, and I do similarly with the Z. And finally is else. Else means that the value does not contain in any other case. Okay, so if we change it to I add to A, this is first character of the alphabet. Okay, and you can change to Z, you can change anything else. And what about how to use when as a function? Now I want to define a function, and the function will use a when syntax. It means that I define a function with name, and the input parameter type is in and is equal to when. So inside the when I have to switch case. To switch case between the value using the input number, and the input number is used for switch and case. Then if this input number is equal to 0, I will implement this, and you only use it if inside this we have multiple line of code. For example, we have 2 lines of code, then I use open and close bracket. If you have one line, you do not need to use open and close bracket. And you can use value, for example, 1, comma 2, comma 5, comma 6, etc. For a set of value, set of specific value. And here is a value from minimum to maximum. So we have from to 3 to 10, and I call this print. So it has only one line code, and no need to add the open and close bracket to here. Okay, and then what about the default value or the else to print many? And I call this function check member, call the function, and the input parameter 0. So you see that it is 0. Okay, because this is the first case 0, and you can change it to 2, 3, etc. And you also change this to print line to ensure that each string is in separated line, so you can change the value to, for example, 5. Then it will show that the string is a few and several. Okay, so now the function inside the check number is a no return function. And what about the for loop? Assume that I have an array of integer, and the array of integer has a value here. We have a 2 for value, and inside this I can print out the value of each item inside the array, or print out each of the integer value inside the array. So let's start by printing this and use a dollar character. Let's run. Okay, and I see that this is a value of each of the item when you use a for loop. The for loop is used many time when you want to for loop on type of object. And now you can for loop an array of index. Index is an array of index. So this array contain many index, all of the index of the array item. And so I can see I can print out the index of the item and the value of the item, then the value of the item here, and you use the dollar and with open and close bracket to ensure that it is a complex expression. It means the expression inside the expression, or variable inside the variable. So after running, you see that we have an index here, the value, the according value, and the index. Okay. So this is the second way to use a for loop, and we can use another way as a tuple, and a tuple of value. We have index and value. After calling the function with index, we have a tuple of value contain index and value. So it is very easy to print out the value because we have our own unit. We have index and we have value. So you can print out this the same as using index, but this way is more convenient when you want to pass a list or an array of objects. So running, I can see that we have some value as at index blah blah is blah blah. Okay, then now I want to talk about what is this, and remember to see this. For example, we have a long type variable, and I want to show element inside this. I can use a y, and you have to make this condition to be false. When it is true, it always inside the y, and you have to make it full by minus s. Okay, and I see that we have the s is decrement. After the decrement is 4, also value is less than 0 or 4, it will break out the y. Thank you very much for. Hi everybody. Today I continue with how to use return and jump in Kotlin programming language. So firstly, we have an array of integer. We have an integer of some fixed value, and it is an array of an integer. And now I want to for loop. I for loop and I use a break. Break here, what does this mean? Break mean it is break out the nearest for loop, or it will break out and go out of the for loop. Then after that I print out the screen and run. Okay, and I see that it break from 30 value, and after the 30 value the for loop does not run anymore, so we have only so 2 value from the list. It means that break can remove and out of the for loop. And what about the continue? Continue only bypass this step, only bypass one step. So you see that here it does not show 30, but any other element inside the array is exist, and the for loop will continue to the next and bypass only the step that has a continue command. And now we have a 2 for loop, the z inside the I, and we have a 2 for loop here. So what does it mean if I break out? So let's first check. We check for I and G has a value of 20, and we have a label. Its name is the label of to break. Then go to the break and go to this label, or we have the label 1. Label 1 is the name of a label that I can break and go to this label. For example, if I is equal to 20 and G is equal to 20, I break or I go to the label 1, then I call break at label 1. Then I print out to the screen the value after break and run. Now I run the program and I see that we cannot see what is the problem. We cannot see the I20 or G20. I cannot see because at this step it will break to the label 1. So paste the command here and I run, and now I back to label 1. At this line I back to label 1, and the for loop cannot be continued and the for loop stop here. What about the here we have a label 2. Label 2 is the inside the label 1, and I call the label 1 to break at label 2. Then label 2 is break, then the label 1 will continue. The loop at the label 1 will continue, and I paste the print to here. Okay, and I run. Remember that it will show I and G. Okay, so we see multiple line because it only breaks the label 2. So I find, for example, I find I is equal to 20 and J is to 20. Okay, I cannot find because at the time it breaks the label 2, but the label 1 continue to run for the next step. Okay, and this example show you that I can break to some of the label inside the for loop. For example, for loop for one label, another for loop has the label 2, etc. Here I have a function print integer list, and the input variable is an array of integer. So this function is has a basic type and has some of the values. The value is an array. So now how can I do? Inside this function we can for loop to for each something like for loop, and this is anonymous or no name function. The anonymous has the input parameter is item, It is an item of all the value inside the array, the array, and the item is the input variable. And the second here is function content or the implementation of the command inside the function. Then I check if the item is a 20. What can I do? I return. Zip only return to the anonymous function. This function, it only return to the anonymous function here, and it does not return or do not return to print integer list function. So the return type in this has a scope, and the scope is inside the anonymous function. And after calling this, I copy the input array here. Okay, then I run. Okay, and I see that we have no, not find the 20, not find the 20, because it return at here when item is 30, it returns the value to the function item or the anonymous function or a no name function. It return to only the anonymous function. So the return here only return to the nearest function that contain the return. Hi everybody, today I continue to talk about function in Kotlin and how to define function in Kotlin. I start the previous project with default function main, and I define a function. The very simple function here is a function that add two integer. The interval value input x and y, and we have the return value is integer. So I print out to the screen the adding function, and remember that we use the x and y as the input, and the dollar sign must add with the open and close bracket when calling to the function or calling to the complex expression. Do not use unnecessary with a variable. Then I comment out and use this type. If the function has one line, you do not need to add the open and close bracket. You use only one line with the equal signs. And after running this, we have the two number is 30. Okay, it is very simple about the function. And I use this run. Okay. And two type of the definition is okay. Now as continue with the area of a rectangular. A rectangular has a width and the height, and width multiplied by height is equal to the area. And if the height is null, then the width is equal to height. It means that the height has a default value, or the default value of the height is width. And here we assume that we have the width and the height value, and I calculate the area of rectangular. Yes, it is the value 10 multiplied by 20. Okay, and this is an example of when if height is null or the height not specified here, then the height will get the default value of the width. Okay, and we have the value is here 100. But now we can set the default value to a fixed size. For example, I can set this to a fixed size or a constant. For example, 123. So after running this, I can see that the value here is 10 multiplied by 123. Okay, and this is a default value as a fixed or a constant. So for example, we have a function with without return value, or something like a void function in a C programming language. And the function without return value, we always print some of the string. For example, the person name not nil, I print now hello, hello, Mr. ABC, and otherwise I print that hi there. So let's try by using the input is here. So it sees that hello Nguyễn Đức Hoàng. Okay, then is my name. What about unit? Unit is something like void in C, and the unit means that it does not return anything, and it is a void function, and it is the same as the no return value function. So it is the same. Yes, you can use unit or no return. What about the variable number of arguments? This is a function, or the function A has a arg, mean a variable of arguments. It means that the input is a multiple parameter. For example, we have one parameter, two parameter, and I don't know how much input parameter. So I use it. I consider it as an array of parameter. I consider it as an array, and I print now to the screen some of the input value. So let's try with the value has four parameter, and the second example we have one parameter, and the variable of arguments knows that we have an array of parameter of input parameter. So here you see that the parameter will show you here as an array. We can add multiple parameter, one parameter, two parameter, etc. Okay. And what about the infix notation? The infix notation is like an operator. We have one operand, b operand, and in means that we have one integer plus to another one integer, and the plus here is a notation or the operator name, and it might extended from int type. So the input parameter is x. So I return this. This means that the first operand, and the x is the second operand. So we have x one operand to another operand. Then I use 3 plus 2. 3 plus 2, or 3 is this, or the first operand, and the 2 is second operand. Okay, and the plus. What is the plus? The plus is infix. Infix means between 3 and 2, between operands. And after running, I see that 3 plus 2 is equal to 5. Yes, 5. So, okay. Now, let's start with the 10 rates. 10 raised, and it is a factorial function. The factorial function calculate 1 multiply 2 multiply 3 and etc. n. So the 10 rate is used for a recursive function. When the function recurses many times and it will crash the system, and the 10 rate ensures that it will not be calculated and break out automatically. This is that mean if the n is 1 long, l is long, and it will return to the factorial at the index of n minus 1. Okay, this is algorithm for our factorial, very basic, and then run. So you see that this the factorial of 5. The factorial of 5 is small 120 and can be calculated. Okay, then now if you want to calculate a very large number, a very big number, then for example you try to a very big 1000, it will calculate to a very big, and then running. Okay, again is 0 because it does not calculate if the value is exceed the maximum value or is it. Hi everybody, today I will talk about classes and constructor in Kotlin. Let's start with the previous project, and we have a main function in the package hello. So now I create a new class, the class name person. The person has some of the property inside, and I want to initialize the object with the class person. And how can I do this? So inside this we can have some of the property. For example, first name is a property with string, and the initial value is a blank string. So how can I do in an initialize function or constructor? So I define the key, the syntax key as constructor. So inside the constructor I have some of the parameter list for some of the property, and we have var first name, means the first name is set one time and cannot be changed. We also have last name, it is a value and can be changed one time, and a variable of age, and the age can be nil or null or nullable. It means that the age can be set and can be set to null or to blank. Okay, now we have this is called the constructor. The constructor here is a initialization function, and you can use using this. I remove the word constructor, and it names the class name and open close with some parameter inside. In the main function I create a person. A person object has some of the property here. It is initialized when using, and the age can be nil or null. For example, the age is null and the name is Nguyen, last name Đức Hoàng. Okay, so now I want to call to set the property. For example, I can set the property first name. So first name now is a public property. Then it can be set, or you can set a person dot first name, or you can set person dot last name is equal to last name, etc. So it is you can call this function, call this property by dot person dot first name and person dot last name. Okay, so this is a public property. Then after running this, I see that the output is detail first name dot Nguyen, last name Đức Hoàng. Okay, so you can use a initializer block. The initializer block is a block of some command is called when the constructor after the constructor is called. The initialize block is called also. And you can print out to this that I have just print initialize the object with some of the property here. So the initialize block is called when the constructor is finished. Okay, so let's start with this to know the flow when you work. Okay, firstly you see that a user initialize, and the function detail is the second line printing, and remember that you can also call the age is equal to a value. I set the age is equal to a value and not null, so you see that age now is not null. You can see you can print out the person dot age is to the for the as I said before. Okay, now function detail is first name and last name Đức Hoàng, age 35. Okay. So you also have the private property. The private property cannot be accessed outside the class, and you also you only set the private property inside the class definition or inside some of the method of the class. So if you call to this person dot full name, so nothing to do because you cannot access private property outside the class. So let's comment out this line, and you define a method or a function inside the class. The function here will will show a message. The input is a message string and the default value for it is a blank string. So inside this I can access to the private property. I can access to full name, asset, or to any private property inside a class. So you can show to this is full name, say a message. Okay. And the function call is a public call, so you can call the talk to the person dot public function talk. So you see that Đức Hoàng say good morning. Okay, and remember that the function default is public, and you can also print out the public property. Sure. Public property can be accessed inside a class and outside the class. Sure. And you can see that after run, you see that we want to say good morning. Okay, it's the same like the previous. Hi everybody. In this lesson, I will talk about inheritance in Kotlin and how to inherit a class in Kotlin. Let's start with the previous lesson with the class person. The class person has some of the property: first name, last name, age, and the method or function is talk. And inside the engineer inherited from person, we override the first name, or we change the first name, and we add new property named field of study, for example information technology, mechanics. So firstly we have to define that this engineer class inherited from the person class with some constructor. The first constructor, first name, last name, age, and we have a new field of study. The field of study is a new property of engineer class. So this class will okay, why it cannot inherit it? The reason is that the person default person is final. Final means that you cannot inherit it, this class. So if you want to inherit this class, you must define it as open. Open means that can be inherited and can inherit. Any other class can inherit from this open class. So we can initialize the subclass with input parameter here, and this is a constructor for the subclass, and you can print out to the screen by each line. Each separated line is a property, and remember this new property. So after running, you see that the new property is field of study mechanics. So he study mechanics. Okay, it is a way to extend or inherit a new property. And what about override the first name? Override means that you change the first name from the new class or from the subclass, and you must change it to open, it means the open property. The open property allow any other class can inherit or extend this. So we override, use the override var first name and call the super first name and change the first name to uppercase, means that the first name can be converted to cap lock. We make it cap lock and change to uppercase. So after running, you see that the first name is changed to uppercase. Now Alan is changed to uppercase after overriding the first name. So what about the talk? Now you want to override or change the method. You also make open function, and open function can allow other function in the subclass inherited. So you call override func talk, and super talk message means that you call the message or you call the function of the super class, and you add more in here by print I am an engineer, for example. So after calling, you can call engineer.talk. Engineer.talk now will call the function of the super class, and the I am an engineer is a message in the subclass. Okay. So this is and about inherit. Hi everybody. In this lesson, I talk about property and how to define getter and setter in property of class in Kotlin. So let's start with the previous lesson. We have the private property full name, and now I define more property. The public property is adult. The type is boolean, and this is a public property, so you can access it, you can set it, or you can call to this to get the value. So firstly we have the getter. Getter mean when you get the value, this function is called. For example, it will come to this block. When the value is called, this block is also run. So inside this block I add the message prepare to get is adult, and you can check you can check it as a property. For example, you can check the age. If the age is not input or null, it return value, means that it is not adult. And if the age is less than 18, so remember that these two question, two exclamation. The two exclamation mean that you ensure that it is not nil or not null. So we also have the setter. The setter have the new value or the value, and this is a new variable. The new value added to the existing variable. You can set to this by firstly print that to prepare to set is adult, and you check to set the value of age. The age value will be set. If the value is true, you set it to 18, and if it is 4, the value is null. Or the setter is called when you set a value for a property. And firstly we test for getter. You get the first name by dot first name, means the getter is called. You dot is adult, mean this will call the getter of is adult. Yes. So you see that the value is here true. True because the age is 40. Age is 40, not null or less than 18, so it is true. What about okay, remember the double exclamation. It is make sure that not null. Okay, so let's start with the setter. Setter is called when the equal is set. The assignment name means that the setter is called. So inside the setter we have a message, and I set the age, and then I can check when you set to 4, the age is equal to null, and the message going to that the age is null. Okay, then here is the age is null. This is a getter and setter when you want to set a value for a property and get a value for a property in a class. And what about this property? This is public property, and it must be initialized. If you do not initialize, it will throw an error. But if you add to this letter init means that I will initialize later, not now. And then you can initialize after the initialization, or after the constructor. You can call engineer.language is English, and you show this is a later initialize syntax. Okay, thank you very much for watching this lesson. Please subscribe to my. Hi everybody, in this video I will talk about interfaces in Kotlin. Now you start with this diagram. We have the interface, animal interface, we have a bird interface, and the interface only contain function and function definition. So inside the first the bird class implement two interface, animal and bird interface. So it must implement all the method in the interface, and you see that interface here will contain some of the methods that has the same name. For example, it contains a it function with the same name, and you must implement all the function of two interface from this class. So how to do this? Firstly, you continue with a blank project and create a new Kotlin file, and you and this file will be a kt means Kotlin file. It is inside the same package hello. So package hello, it is the same file with the example Kotlin example.kt. So I define the public interface, animal interface. So inside the animal interface we have some of the function, for example function walk, and function walk only through a message that I can walk. You also have the function eat, or animal can eat, can walk. So animal can eat and can walk. Okay, so we define a new bird interface. Then the bird interface is an interface that stand for some animals that can fly. So we firstly add it to the package hello, and then you can add a function, for example function fly, or the bird can fly. The fly function shows that I can fly, and the bird can fly, and the bird can eat. The function eat calls that I am a bird and I can eat. So we have the bird the eat function occur in both bird interface and animal interface. And the bat class, means that a bat can fly and can walk also. So we have the bat class is a bat object that implements the animal interface and the bird interface. So this class implement two interface, so it must implement all of the function inside the interface. It must implement so you override or implement you on press override syntax. So let user the override function. Firstly we have walk, and the super walk mean call from the interface implementation. You can override fly, or the bat can fly. Okay. And what about the it has in two interfaces, so you must specify you user from which of the interface. For example, I point out that I need animal interface, and the second line is get from the bird interface. So we have a super dot animal interface dot it, and the third line will be the task done in this class. So you can print out that I am a bird, and so I can walk, I can fly. You create a new project of bat, and the project of bat now can you can call the function walk. After calling the walk, you see I am a walk, I can walk, and so there is a function from super. I call from super. Here I implement previously from the super, and I print now I am a bat, I can write. Okay. Then what about the you can do the same with the function of fly, the fly function, and also the it function. Yes, you change it to print line for easier to see the output when you run. Okay, so you can see that I can call the fly here, and you also add it to see that I am a bird and I can eat. Okay, it is two line from get from the super or from the interface implementation. And you can add more tasks here by adding more line to this. So for example, I can a bat, I can eat, and you save this file and rerun again. So you can see that we now have the message from the super or the interface, and the message in this implementation. I get a bat and I can use. Okay. Let's talk about the hi everybody. In this lesson I will talk about visibility modifier in Kotlin. So let's start with this diagram. We have package 1, and inside the package 1 we have public class, internal class, and private class. So I also have some of the function public, internal, and private function, and I have a private variable. So let's implement this by right click and create a new package, and the package 1 is a name. So right click and create some file. Inside this we can define the Kotlin file and classes, and inside this I add the class A, and remember that the package here contains the class A and the default is public. So class A we have initialization block, and I print out that I initialize class A. So what about the class B? The class B I must add the internal before, and the class A has a public. So the default is public. You right click and create the Kotlin and class B. Okay. Now you define the class B similarly to the class A, and we also have the init block, and it means that the class A and class B is the same package, and yet you add the internal class. And what about the class C? I right click and create class C. So inside this I add the package 1 and class C and the initialization block, and print out that I initialize the class C. And what about this? We have a tree function. Tree function at the same level with class A, B, and C, and in the same package 1. So what can I do this? I simply add this function to here outside the class. So we have a public function 1, and I print out that is function 1. Okay, let's try with the very simple basic with some print line. So we have a function 2, 3, and private. I define the private is equal to 100. So you can move all of these definition to another file. It is not important. It is okay. So you can add to any file inside the package, and no problem. So it means that 3 of the file is inside the package 1, and you can cut and move back to the class A. Okay. So what about the package 2? We define similarly to package 1. For example, here I choose package and name package 2. Okay. So inside the package 2, we can add Kotlin file mean class D, and class D. Inside class D, I define the public class D and the initialization block. When you create a new object, you will show this block. Okay, and we have function 4. You can access public class A from anywhere. Public means you can add from anywhere. So how can do this? I can, for example, I can access class A from here by defining an object of class A. Okay, then the initialization block will be called. This is a function 4 is also a public function. And inside the main, I can call the function 4 because the function 4 is public. So you can access a public function 4 anywhere and run. So you see that this is a function 4 and initialize the class A inside the function 4. Okay. So first remember that the public means that you can access anywhere. What about the class B? It is an internal class. You can also access to the internal class and specify which package you implement. Very simple. You must access internal class using the import. You import means you point out that I use this class inside this package, and we have initialize class B. Okay. So what about the class C? Class C, I can access class C inside the same file. The same file with the class definition, you can access this. And if you access outside this file, you cannot access because it is private. For example, if you access here, create a class C object and it will throw error, means that you cannot access private class in outer file or in another file depending on independent with the definition file. Okay. And so we have a class D, and subclass D is a subclass of class D. Mean it inherits from class D. So you use a semicolon with the constructor, and you mean that you inherit from class D. And in this case, it throws the error because why? Because you have to add open. Open means that can be inherited. You can inherit an open class, then after add open you can inherit it. Okay. So subclass D inherited from class D, and it also inherits some open property, open function inside the class D or the superclass. Assume that we have a protected open value. So protected open val means that a function or a property can be inherited, but inside the subclass you only use it inside the subclass. For example, you can change it, you can override and change it to another value, but remember that it will only in subclass. So if you access it outside this subclass, it will choose the error because it is outside the subclass. You use it in the function for not okay, and you can also access it inside the subclass. Inside the initialization block, you can print out and you can access to this, okay, but you cannot access it outside in another function. What about the private? You cannot use a private open, or you cannot inherit a private property, so you only inherit protected public with open property, okay. So if you override value, so z, you can surely you can inherit and override the. Hi everybody, in this lesson I will talk about extension in Kotlin. So what is extension? Extension means that you create a new method and add a new property to an existing class, and which are inherited from this class. Now I create a new Kotlin file, mutable list, mutable list, and we have the function swap to element. This is a new function I add to the existing class or interface mutable list of string. So inside this we have some of the input property, input parameter of index of first element and second element. And firstly, the basic algorithm is get the first index from the mutable list, and it is index 1 and this 2. We have 2 elements and we swap 2 elements, and this is very basic algorithm to swap 2 element. You set an element to the temp, and you set a new element to the old element, and you set the old element to the temp. Okay, this is a basic algorithm for swapping 2 elements. So in this main function we have a list of string is a mutable list of a string, a fixed string. We have 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 is some element of string inside this list, and here I can call to the previous function I have just defined by list on string dot swap to element. So this will call to the function I have just defined before, with the index 1 I assume 0 and index 2 3. So you can print out the result. Okay, so we see that 3 maybe first and the 0 will be third. Okay, it is swap successful. So this is a function that I can extend or make an extension from an existing class or interface. So this is very basic. So I create a new Kotlin file, and inside this file we have I introduce you about companion object, like the static property or function. So if you want to define a static object or property, you can use this companion object, And inside the companion object, you can add more function to here. For example, it is something like a static function in Java or any other programming language. So firstly, I can print out the p by calculation.p. So I call this by using class name dot function. It is like the static function in Java. So run. So we have a p. Okay, here it is a constant. It is something like to store some of the constant, etc. global variable in your application. What about the extension with companion? You can extend more function inside the companion object by using dot companion dot new function name. So the return value is float, for example, and inside this you can access to the previous previous function companion. Remember that f is float, okay, float, and l is long. To return to star companion, remember dot companion dot p. So you can extend or add more function to a companion object. So in the companion object, we have now the double p, means the p times 2. Then you can access this using, it is like the companion object, the normal companion object calling to double p. Okay, so run. So is this as a result? Yeah. Okay, so it is very useful when you want to add some static method using the companion object. Now we have class A. Class A have method A and method X. Remember of the method X. So we also have class B with method B and method X. So two class has the same method X. Yes. And now I tell you about calling this method from the extension. How can I do this using this example? For example, inside the class A, I extend the method B2 from class B. So this is how I extend a method inside another class. So inside this, I can call to method A. Yes, this is okay. Type method A, it will call method A of class A, but the method B is in class B. Okay. You also call method B in class B. Sure, it is sure because it is from class B. But you can using this. This mean class B. This mean class B. Okay, you can use this or without this. So now I create a new object B class for class B, and I call the method B2. Okay, why I cannot calling this? Why? Because you can only call this inside the class B. As it is the restriction, you only call this inside class A. So I define a new call B2 from A. Then inside this, I can access to method B. Yes, because this function call is inside the class A, and surely I can call this from here because it is from class A. Okay. Okay, and run. So this is the output. Remember that you can only access the class method B inside the class A. Okay. And what about so let's show you an example of inside this I call the method is which method is the calling this is a method B is the method is in B. Remember that because I define it inside I extend the method B, method for class B. Yes, it is a method of class B because I calling in the extension of class B. Okay, but Now if you want to call the method x from class A, you can use this at A. Remember that this at A will call method x of class A. Yes, and this tell you about the scope when you calling. Okay, it is x of class A. Okay, thank you very much for watching this video. Please subscribe to my channel. Hi everybody, today I'm going to talk about data classes in Kotlin. Now let's start with the previous lesson. We have the package hello and function main, and data class in Kotlin is a summer class that to hold data, and it has some of the new methods that are useful for manage your data. And so let's start with some of the simple a very simple example. Here I define a class user, user, the data class user, and the input property as a constructor. We have a name, have an age is a input parameter for some of the value in the class, and open. Data class cannot be inherited if it is not compatible with open, so you cannot inherit a data class. So let's start by defining a user object. We have a name, is test name, and the age is 18. So this is a user object, and you can print out using the toString. The toString for an object is a function to show the detail object as a string. So you have a user name, test name, and the age is 18. Okay, so now I want to we have some of this property here. Okay, so now if we want to create a new user, backup user, and I copy. What does it mean? Copy means clone an object, make a new object with the same value, name, and age, but the same but in different memory location, or for example it's in separate location. So if you change one value from object 1, the second object cannot be changed, so it is a copy or clone. If I change the age property, if I change a property, so it will be 80, and the backup user not change, and this is a separate object. So now I can print after copy. You can print now. Yes, so we have two independent object with the age t and 18. Okay, so this is a separate object. And then what about the hash code? Hash code means the object content. All the content of the object will be mapped to a number, and the number represent to the object content. You can print out to see that what is hash code here. Hash code means bring all the content of the object and make it as a number. Then after running, you see that we have a two number, that the object content will be here, and it is a different content. It has different content because one has a user is different from other user age. So now if it is not changed, then two object has the same content. So you see that the content here, it is the same content, so it through the same number, and then I can use a hash code. I can compare the hash code between two of the object to determine which object is has the same content or not. And then I can print out that two objects has the same content if it has the same hash code value, and then we can see that two objects have the same content. So if we change the user object, the property of age to at I see that two objects have not the same content. So this way is similar to using to compare content step by step of each of two objects, and you can use the equal function. Then the equal also compare the content of user and backup user, and two code line here are the same. It is the same. You can compare the hash code, or you call the equal function. Hi everybody. In this lesson, I will talk about nested and inner class in Kotlin. Now start with the previous project and with the main function and package hello. So I will try to define some of the nested and inner class in some example. Let's start with the class name fruit. Inside the fruit we have the private variable or private property. Watermelon is a string, and you can add a string in emoji and symbol, and you can add multiple string here. For example, you add the string for watermelon. Okay, and I also have the private variable for wrapper at green apple for some of the fruit. And then you can add more icon here. You can use emoji, multiple emoji here. You can add. Then we have a three private property, and inside this I define a class nested. A nested class. A nested class means that a class inside another class. So after defining, I can define the class as a normal class by adding function inside this class. We have a say hello, and inside the say hello, I cannot access the property up here. You cannot access the property wrapper or the property of the outer class. Yes, remember that you cannot use this property. And what about I pronounce as it is a function inside a nested class. So inside the main function, I can call to this by create calling dot nested. Remember that you have not initialized the object. You do not have to initialize the object of fruit. You only call this nested, but you have to initialize nested and call say hello. Okay, and you have the function IAM function inside a nested class. Then what about this? I define the inner class. We have an inner class. Inner class means that this class is inside the fruit, and you can use this class can use some of the property of the outer class. For example, I have the function get apple emoji return to string, and inside this I can access a property of outer class, the property of green apple. Yes, inside the fruit. Okay, you can access this inside the inner using this property. So inner class means that you can access the property of the outer class. So let's start by creating a fruit object, and inside the fruit object I can access to the inner instance or inner object and call the get emoji apple emoji. So please return to the string. Yes, and run. Okay, and apple emoji is here and a function in the inner class. So the inner class has deeper access to the outer class than the nested class. And depending on your purpose, you can choose between nested or inner class. What about you can use this inner fruit you initialize using and dispatch to an object here, an inner fruit, and here I call the inner fruit. Then you can use this way and run, Okay, and upper emoji is Apple icon here. Okay. Hi everybody. In this lesson, I will talk about how to use enum classes in Kotlin. Enum classes is useful for defining some of the specific value for some specific type. For example, we have the enum here. Class is compass duration, and the class compass duration only have four value. It was short, sound, and not, and it's only receives one of these four value, not another value. So you have to use the enum or enumeration, the enum class. So you can call the enum class value using dot class name dot value. So the value here, this is very simple. You can add or remove the values into this depending on your business. And we also can define enum with the initialize, because the enum class is also a class, then it can be initialized. So this is some of the input parameter or property. We have the color is height color. The height color is about from 0 to 255. Then we have the value red, green, blue. So you can convert to string using toString to convert it to string. Here, the string here is also blue, and the value here is a string. And you also use the property name to get the name of the specific property. So you also use the ordinal. Ordinal means the order. For example, 0, 1, 2. The first value is 0, second is 1, and second is 2, etc. And after running this, you can see that the green value is ordinal. It has ordinal 1 because it is from 0, 1. Okay, so the ordinal is the sort of the value inside. You can also get the value using the value of you input the string is blue, and you get the value depending on that blue. So you can run. Okay, and you see that the input is a blue string, and the output it will insert on the value, and if it has this value, it return to the value. When you add an unknown value, or the value is not in the list, then run, you will see an exception. The exception or the error through that no enum constant has a value is blue 1, 2, 3. Okay, this is check for the value is exists or not. You can also get the value. Value is an array. It is an array of all of the value inside the enum class. Inside the enum class, and then you can for loop the array to and fetch data to the color blue of each of the element inside the array. Then you print out the color value and run. Okay, and you see that the color value is red, green, blue. It's a value of each element inside the enum class, inside the enum class. And you can also add an action state. For example, this is enum, and inside this I can add an abstract function. The abstract function means a function that define you can add more implement inside this or no implementation, so it's called the abstract. So inside this we have the reverse action. The reverse action here means that when you add active, it will flip to inactive, and when you add inactive, it will flip to active. Okay, this is when you want to press some button 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, So after calling the reverse action from active, you can change to inactive, and vice versa. From inactive, it will be changed to active. Okay, so we have a two value. Then after running, we show that we can have the two value, inactive and active. Okay, then this is the way you flip a value. And this is the end of my hi everybody. Today I will talk about delegation in Kotlin. What about the delegation? Now I will give you an example about the delegation. Example, we have a cookie bird. A cookie bird here asks the eagle that can you please fly and finding food for me? And the eagle, okay, I am eager and I will flying. I am flying and finding food for you. It means that the bird or the cookie delegate the right to the eagle to fly and cookie food for the bird. Example, it is the delegation. The delegation here means that cookie delegate eagle to fly and find food for cookie. Okay, and in this example, I will demo this example to show you how to understand about the delegation. The delegation means that please do it for me. Okay, first we have the first interface, bird interface, and the bird interface has the function or method fly and find food. And we have a class eagle that implements the interface bird interface. It means that class eagle must do all the function inside the bird interface, and it is the implementation of the interface. So you have to override. Remember that use override function fly and find food. So in this, I will print out that I am an eagle and blah blah years old, and I try flying and finding food for you. Okay, and this is the eagle class, and implement the interface find and finding food and flying. Then after that, we have the another class cookie. The cookie is for bird. This bird use the input as the interface bird interface, and will implement the interface bird interface. This means that cookie can ask delegation to eagle or self doing. Okay, so let's start with we have the override to work the fly and find food, and inside this I add I am a cookie and I'm flying and find food. Okay, and this it means that the fly and find food methods will be implemented by cookie. So firstly, I create the eagle object and call the fly and find food for the eagle, and I run. Okay, let's wait a few seconds. We see that this is I am eagle, I am 2 years old, and I'm flying and finding food. It means that the eagle implement the fly and find food. And what about the cookie? I create a cookie object which the input is the interface, means that I add the implementation for the interface or the object eagle as the input parameter of the constructor for cookie for cuckoo. Okay, so it means that the cuckoo will delegate to the eagle to do. So I call fly and find food. It means that it will call to this, but when I comment out, it means that eagle will fly and find food for cookie. Yes. Okay, so let's start with running, and I see that okay, now we have an eagle. The second is also eagle. but I call from cookie, and the message is I am eager. It means that the eager has done the task of flying and finding food for the cuckoo. Okay, and then I will here to open this implementation. So the cookie do not delegate to eager, so cookie also do for itself and do it yourself. Yes, and it will print out that I am cookie and I am flying and finding food. Okay, so if here I run, I see that I am a cuckoo, I'm trying and finding food. Okay, so it means that the cuckoo will do it for itself, right? And flying find food. Okay, hi everybody. Today I will talk about delegated property in Kotlin. So let's start with the blank project, and we will talk about delegated property. Now we have a user class, and in the user class we have a today task is a string, is a property. So the user will delegate to the delegated user. For example, hi delegated user, please implement getter and setter of this property for me. It means that the user will delegate to the object, delegate user to do the getter and setter to the user. Yes, this is the delegated property. It means the property will be related to another class to do the getter and setter for this user or this class or this current class. So okay, this is a diagram. Now start with defining a user. We have the user class with the property today task is a string, and we have the class delegated user. It means that the user will delegate to the delegated user about how to do some of the function getter etc for the property of the user. Okay, so in this we will have some of the you need to use the operator function. You remember that user operator function, it is a getter. So when you get the value, it will call to the getter, and the property is a Kotlin property. So getter is get value and setter is set value. Remember that about this. And the delegated user will implement this function. Okay, so remember that the property is var today task, and you have to by delegated property by delegated user, and this wrap means that the user object here it is a user object or the delegation object. So you have to call this, and inside this we implement we return to the value. For example, you return to the value that this wrap or the user object time for delegating the property name or today task to me or to delegated user. This is any because it can do for any object that you define, except that user object or etc any object. So the property name is today task, string today task. And we also have the setter. The setter is a set value function. I use the operator function set value, and similarly to get value, I will use a set value. When you set a value to the property, the delegated user will do it for you. And inside this I use I can access to the value to the property. The property here is task for today, and the value here is a new value. The new value has assigned to the current task today. For example, you have the task 1, task 2, and assigning. Then we have a new object of user. Here we create a new object, and I print to the screen that object today task. This will call the getter when you dot, and to the property it will call to the getter to get the value, and it will call to the get value function. So we run. Okay, then it call to hello user object at blah 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 blah. Here is memory address, and thanks for getting today task. For me today task is property.name. Okay, and this rep point to the user object in the hello package, and so it is a get value. You can change the return value for this depending on your aim, your purpose of displaying the value. And if you assign a today task to a new value, then this will call the setter. The equal or assignment is the setter. The setter will set the value or the new value. As I make a new video tutorial on Kotlin, and this is a value. This string is also a value. So this value will be set to today task, and after setting it will call to set value function. So you see that yes, assigning to today task in hello user object, the detail is new value. I make a new video tutorial in Kotlin. Okay, so this is the delegate of a property. Hi everybody, in this lesson I will talk about lambda and anonymous function in Kotlin. Now you create a new project with default function main, and now I can show you about the first is a function. It is a normal function. The normal function has a function name, has an input parameter, and has a return value. For example, to zoom to the double, we have this function, and it is a very regular function. Then if you want to print out, you can call the function name, and the input is to double, and then run. You can see that okay, and run. So this is the sum or the return value of x plus y. So you can comment this, and if you do not want, you can use this. And this is a lambda function. The lambda function has this is a lambda function, and the lambda function has x and y is the input parameter, and the zero, and after zero we have the implementation of the lambda function. And on the lambda function is like an arrow function. The function, the parameter in the left, and the implementation in the right. Okay, so we have the value similarly to the regular function. And you can also define the lambda function here using the value of the variable sum. Sum now is a variable, and we have the type, the variable point to the function, and the type is double, and we have the implementation and the input here. Means that you separate the type of the input output to the left, and it is also the lambda function. Then the value will be the same as the previous. Okay, and what about the anonymous function? The anonymous function is a function that have no name. So it has no name, do not have any name here, only have the input parameter and the return value. So this is a no name, means that no name. Okay, so you can access it by defining a variable or point to the function. So the variable is sum, var sum is equal to fun, and the implementation of the function. Okay, and then you can run again and see that the value not changed, the value as you use it in the regular function. And you also define an anonymous function with the return value, means that inside this I have to do some task and print to the screen, not return value. So inside this I print out that it is anonymous function and hello blah blah. So you can add the say hello as a variable point to this function, and you call to this like you call a regular function, and right click and run. And this is like the regular function you call by calling the variable point to the function and the input parameter. So if we have an array, of double, and inside this I call the double array to create an array. So I can for each. So inside the for each we have a lambda function inside it we have lambda function, and I can add a lambda function for doing some of the tasks inside this. So the parameter is x number, and the x number is the input parameter of a lambda function, and the right of the 0 is the implementation of lambda function. So I print now that I print x number and then run. So we have here okay, hello Huang, and we have some of the value of the double inside the array. So using the for each and add the lambda inside this. Hi everybody, today I will talk about observable and how to store property in map. First of all, I open a new project and with the hello and function main, and inside this I define the user class. We have the property name is the name of the user, and I import the delegate to user observable, and the current address is a property that using delegate.observable. Observable means that it will notify when the current address or the property change. The first parameter is initialize value or the init value of current address, and the block here is called when the current address change. When it change to news value, it will run this block or run this function. So inside this we have a lambda function, and the lambda function here we have the prop means the property, the old address and new address. You can change this name depending your purpose, but the user old address and new address with this order. So you can add multiple line here. By printing address is changing, you have to change address, etc. And we print out that the old address and the new address means that the old will be changed to the new, and the property name. Okay, and here you create a new object, and this object has the name user name of Nguyễn Đức Hoàng, for example, and you set the current address to this address. For example, the multi-line, you can use this for multi-lines, and then the current address change, it means it will call to the observable. So after running, you see that from no address to this address, no address is the initialized address, and the new address is the address I have just assigned. Okay, so what about how to change multiple time? Okay, you can change multiple time. You can change now, you can change later the current address, or you can, for example, you change to Bạch Mai Street, Hanoi, Vietnam, and run. So you see that now we have the property has changing from this value to the new value. Bạch Mai Street, Hanoi, Vietnam is the new value. Okay, so in this block or in this lambda function, you can add more tasks to here to do when you change the value. Now I will talk about how to store property in a map. A map is a key value pair. We have the name is a key, the value is Nguyễn Đức Hoàng is a value, and this is the value and key like in JSON object. For example, we have a user object, and the user object has it's a mutable map. The mutable means that this can be changed. This is changeable, and the value is any object, and the key is string. Key is string, and the value is any, means that any object type, and it is a key and value. And you can assign or initialize with the key is the name, is a key, and the Đức Hoàng is value. So it is key to value. Okay, after assigning this, we have an object with the map, and inside the map we have a key and value pair for the property. You can get using get value. You call the get value, and from the key get value mean get value from the key. For example, from name we have Nguyễn Đức Hoàng, and from age we have 35. Okay, so running, we see that we have a user detail name Đức Hoàng and age is 35. Okay, and this is a way to use. You can also add a map to a property of the class, and you also set for example icon set to set the new value. For example, you set the age to the new age of 40. Yes. So after running, you can see the value before setting and after setting. So we have the before and after. So we have a two value, before and after set the value. Okay, using the set. Okay, now so you can add to an existing class. We have a customer class with a map object, and the map object is a property of map. String key is string, and value is any object. So inside this, I can add the properties that mapping to the map object by using by will map to the existing property of the map. Then you can define the object here as a customer, and the property is a map up here, and the map will be changed to the property by mapping using the by syntax. So in this case, you can map from the object of key value to a regular object. Then you can call the object as a regular object by dot name and dot age. Yes. So now we have the detail here and run to see that the custom detail is name is here zone and the age is 30. Okay, and you can okay. So this is very important, when you want to set the value from values that you get from the internet for HTTP. Hi everybody, today I will talk about higher order function in Kotlin. And what about the higher order function? Higher order function is a function that has a parameter as a function, and they can return a function. And remember that it is higher order function. Then I will give you some example about this. By firstly, we have a class log. This class has two methods. The methods that lock the process, and the second method to unlock the process. It is useful for task management, and we have a function that anonymous function, and the anonymous function called body function. Body function is a point to this anonymous function that I introduced about some of the previous lesson. And inside this I can blah blah do some of the tasks about the body function. I get the process ID as an integer, a random integer, and I print out to the screen some of the information, and I return the task ID. So the task ID is an integer point to the ID task, or the ID of the current task doing. Okay, and this is a higher order function. This higher order function will have the body, the property body. The property body is a function, or the input parameter of this function is also a function, and this will return to an integer. Okay, so firstly I call the log method or the log function of the object log to inform that the process is processing. For example, is processing, and then I use a try cat. The try cat will do some of the tasks inside this and choose the arrow if the error occur. So the body here is a function. I call the function inside this using the function, and the input parameter is a function. So finally, it means when it is finished, it will unlock the process. It means that the process will be used for another work or another task, for example. So remember that the body here is a function. The body is a function, and the body is also an input parameter of the higher order function. Yes, and was that it is the definition of a higher order function. And what about the function, the return of function? I can declare later. So inside the main, we call this function by do task, and the first parameter is a log. I initialize a log object. The log object is initialized for calling unlock or log function. Second is a body function. Yes, and this is a function as an input parameter of a higher order, and run. So we see that I log the process, and I call the log function, and after finish I call the unlock the process. And this is a very basic example of a higher order function. And what about the functions that return now return a function? Yes, so this function will return to a function. How can I do this? Firstly, it will return to using the compare. I define the compare as a lambda, and the lambda will return to which is list, or x is less than y. It will to be true. The compare will be true. And in this I will add the correlation. Yes, the input parameter first is correlation of integer, and the second is a function. The less is also a function. Input parameter is a function. So the function will return boolean, means that x less than y, it is true. So okay, then this higher order function will return an integer. So this is a very basic algorithm for getting the maximum value of from a list of value. We have a list of value. We can call this function list. This function list will be called to determine determine which is a max value. Okay, then I can clone this by adding the input parameter. The input parameter here is a list of integer, and the list of integer we can clone the get max value inside this, or the higher order. This is a higher order function. Input is an array of int, and input is compare is a function. So after calling this, I can get the maximum value of the function. Okay, and this function will go to compare. Remember that the compare is a function. You can use the compare as a normal function, or a function without name, or anonymous function, or lambda, etc. So that is I print out the max value to here, and then right click and run. Okay, so the max value here. Yes. Okay, thank you very much for watching this lesson. Thank you very much for watching this lesson, and please subscribe to my channel for more. Hi everybody, today I will talk about destructing declaration in Kotlin. And what about this? Destructing means that you extract the property from a existing class and object. Okay, so remember that it only works with data class, and we have a data class example here. It's a data class customer. We have the property name and age. Name is string, and the age is a value, and the integer. And I initialize the object customer with the name Đức Hoàng and age 35. Okay, so this is an object that created from the data class customer. So I extract this using name age. This is destructing a property. Yes, and this is error. Why? Because only data class can destructure. Remember that only data class. So change to data class, it will be destructed, and you can show to the screen this as a separated variable. We have name, we have value, without adding the customer dot. Okay, and this is a way we want to extract many or multiple variable inside an object. For example, now I have a customer 2. This example, we have customer 2 and customer object, and we have a list of customers, and this is a type of a collection type of customer. So this is an array of customer object. It contains many customer object inside this, and I initialize it customer and customer 2. So we have 2 objects in the list. Okay, now I want to iterate for loop, using the for loop to iterate the object, and each object has a name and age. I extract this using the destructor ring declaration. So we have a name and age for each of the loop, then run. So we have the detail here. We have a name Đức Hoàng, and the name is Alex, etc. Okay, and this is a way to destructure from a list. And then we have the function that return multiple value. How can I do this? Assume that we have a function that calculates something and return to one or more value. For example, calculate a vector, and we have the return is 3 value x, y, z. What can I do? So I have to define the result object as a data class. The result object is a data class with the input is x and y and z, and this is a return value when you calculate the function. And when I calculate the function, I do some tasks, so calculate, etc., blah blah, and I return the value after calculating. For example, I return the value is h is 1, 5, and 6 is a 3 value that I after calculating I return to this value. Then I can get the value by calling this function to using the destructuring, and we have the 3 value x, y, z destructing by calling the function. And you can change to another name, x1, y1, etc., x1, x2, y2. So you print out to the screen as a separated variable, like a separated variable, and run. So it sees us the value is 1, 5, and 6. Okay, we have the 3 value has been printed out to the screen about this. Okay, then this is how to destruct some value to the data class, and the data class is returned by a function. So what about the map? We have a map of user. We save the user object as a map of key is string, and the value is any. The value is any object type, and I set the value here. The first is name. For example, the value is Alexander, and the age to 40 is equal to 40. So this user object is a type of key value like addition. So I can extract this using the destructuring declaration as the key value to destructure the key and the value inside the user object, and then it will destructure all the key value in this, and I print out to the screen on the key and the value of the hash or the map. And then after running, I can see that we have the key here, a value here, blah blah, and key age and value 40. Okay, so this is a way to use a for loop and destructuring to extract the property inside a map. Hi everybody, today I'm going to talk about collection type in Kotlin. Collection type mean we have a list, for hash, we have a set, etc., etc. So we have a list, set, and map in Kotlin. So we can talk about this to some of the simple example. Firstly, I have mutable list. Mutable here means that you can change, add, remove element inside mutable list, and the mutable list is using mutable list up function to create a new list. And you have a read-only number is also a list. A list means that it is not mutable, so you cannot add more or remove inside this. So firstly, I add a number to the existing collection using add, and I print line after adding or before adding. So we have a list of number, so run. So we have this number add successful because it is a mutable list. A mutable list can be added to added more element inside this. And what about the read-only number? Because the read-only number point to the same object, and it is the same because it has the same reference. Read-only reference to the number, so after the number change, the read-only number also change accordingly. So it is point to the same object and the same value. So if you add more, you cannot add because the read-only number is not mutable. It is a list not mutable list, so it is immutable. And now we have a string of multiple set. We have a set of string or a list of string, and inside this we have A, B, C, or D, and you can add or remove, you can change because it is mutable. So you can check that if the list contain a specific letter, or for example contain the string G, or contains the string A, etc. And you can use the contain to check for this object contain another object. Okay, so run. Yes, see that this set not contain G, not contain the string G. So if you change to B, then run, then B. Okay, and after running, we see that this set, this collection contain B. Okay, this is very simple. You do not need to use while or for loop. So you can sort descendingly or sort ascendingly. Then using this function sorted descendingly, it will automatically sort the array for you. Yes, and vice versa. We have this DCBA, sort ascending, descending, depending on the alphabet. Yes. Okay. So what about how to take snapshot? Take snapshot means that you clone to a separate immutable object, means that an object cannot be changed. You can back up, you can save, you can break up a collection then to use at this time. For example, we have float mutable list. This mutable list can be changed, and you have a 3 element, and I back up the float list is a list that immutable or not mutable or not changed, and this is cloned from the float mutable list to save it to a list, and then you call to list. After calling to list, we have a new to list object has been created that immutable, and it is a backup. It will save for the future to do something, for example to back to rollback, etc. Then after calling add, you can add more element inside the first, and I will change the first and the second to okay, you see that it is in separated memory location. The float mutable list can be added, and the backup float list not changed. It is in the separate location, in the independent memory location. Okay, so this is the way you do for backing up some of the data. So you can also get the first element or the last element of a list by calling first, the calling last function. First function returns the first element, and last function return the last element inside the list. Okay, so for last element. So right click to run, and you see that the first is 1 and the last is 4. Okay, so what about the next? What can I do now for the next? We will talk about the filter function. Inside the filter function, we have a lambda function, and the lambda will determine what condition can be used. We have a item is the input parameter, and the implementation is item larger than 2.0 float. Okay, and this will check for all the elements that becomes this condition is true, or item is more than 2.0 float, and I print out to the screen about this value, filter, and run. Okay, and I see that we have 3 and 4. That means it larger than 2, and then this is a filter function using the input of lambda function. What about the noon? We have a list that contains a noon value. So the int is the int question. Int question means that inside this we have an integer that can be noon that can be noon. For example, we have a noon number inside this list, and I print out this list, and my question is I guess we can print out to the screen a noon 1 2 noon 3 4. Okay, and I want to remove the noon. What can I do? You do not need to while loop and remove. You only use this function require no noon. You can add this function to here require no noon, means that it will true an exception. It will true an exception when it encounter a noon value. So the require no noon means that it will check and ensure that no noon is passed through here. And what about the mutable hash map? A hash map something like a map, but we only add okay, we also have a string key and a value pair, and it is a hash for optimizing the performance. So for example, we have s equal to 1, s is key and the 1 is a value, so it is a key value pair. And similarly to y is 2 and key value pair. Okay, so we have a mutable map, so you can change by using this syntax to change the value. For change h to 100, and after running, so you see that we have the new value is equal to 100 and y is still 2. Okay, and this is a mutable map or mutable hash map you use to save the value, and we get the value, set a new value, etc. Okay, so you can also use this function set and use this syntax. 2 line code here are the same. So after running, there I see that the new value is it's 100. Okay, and then s and y. Okay, this is hi everybody. In this lesson I will talk about range in Kotlin. What about range? Range for example, from 1 to 10, from 1 to 100, etc. Okay, let's first do the for loop using in, and this means that I is from 1 to 10. So after running this, I see that 1 2 3 4 5 10. Okay, so in I in 1 dot 10 means that from I from 1 to 10, and you can run this and choose it the down 2. Down 2 means that from 10 to 1, and you cannot use for dot here. So if you want to print from 1 to 9, what can I do? In this case, I use until. The until will give you run from 1 to the maximum -1, and it is from 1 to 9 from this example. So you see that 1 to 9, this is a dot until. So please distinguish between dot between dot 2 and until, and there is different. So if we have a list of integer, so we save it to int. We have some of the value here. So this is an array of integer, and you can check that a number is in the list by using in. For example, check that 30 is in this list, and after running, you see that this number exists in the list. Yes, so 30 is in the list. Or you can use another sign exclamation. What about the exclamation? Exclamation in means that not in or not in, and you can change here, paste to this, and cut this and paste to this line. Okay, so this checks that is not in. So run. Okay, just this number exists in the list. Yeah, so this is different from the in. Okay, what about the step? If you want to for loop from a step, you use the size step. For example, step 2 means that 0 and 1 2 and 3 4 or 0. Okay, so we have step 2 is at 0 2 4 6 etc. It means the step is 2. Or you can change the step to filter a list. So let's increase a little bit step 3 and print now. So you see that 1 and 3 and then 3 for 6, 3 and 9. Okay, then the step is 3. Okay, so you want to down to this step because this step can be used, can be applied for the down to syntax. For example, from 20 down to 0 using step 2. So we have a list down to from big to small. Yes, we have it here. Yes, down to from 20 to 0. Yeah, depending on your step you can show. And what about the filter? We have we can add this to an array variable. You can create a variable and add this loop to an array, to an variable of array filter int. So using filter in, I can print out the filter in, copy this, print out. So I can for loop on the element inside the filter list using this in and calling. Okay, so we have this here. I can print out to the screen about the filter list. The filter list can get from a command like here to save to a separate variable. You can also use a property first, a property last, or the method. It is the same. Okay, you can print out the first element and the last element inside the list. Okay, and you can run. Okay, so we have a first element 1, the last element is 29. Yes, and it is the end of my lesson today. Please subscribe to my channel for more exciting videos. Hi everybody, in this lesson I will talk about this expression in Kotlin. For basically this means that it points to the current class or so current object, but in this lesson I will show you about some of the class. We have a class A, and inside this we have class B. Class B is the inner class of class A. So inside the class A we also have an extension for another class. We have class C, and in class B I implement an extension function for the class C. For example, extension function 1 is adding more function to the class C, and this will be used inside this class B only because it is defining and extending inside the class B. So we have this variable, then this at A. This at A means that the object point to the class A. Okay. Then we can also print out to the screen about this. This at A is a variable. So we also have a method of class B because we have to use this to access to the extending function 1, and we initialize the C object, and I can call this extending function. You can only call this inside the class B only, and you have to define the method of class B to access through this. Then firstly I define the object A, and I call the function method B, a method of class B inside the object A. Yes, methods of class B, but remember to initialize the B object. Then running. So we have this at A is the package hello, the A inside the package hello, inside module hello. Okay, and the final is address, the memory address, as I said, the memory address in the memory. So what about this B? You can add this at B, means that it point to the object in class B. So the object in class B. Yeah. So after running this, we see that $B means that B is the inner of A, and the A is the inner of hello package. Yes, or hello module. So and the final is a memory address. So what about this at extension function? What about this? It means that it points to the object inside the extending function 1. So what is this? It is from class C, because this function is extending from the class C. So it is a type of class C. The object here is a type of class C. So because it is inside the C class. And what about this? This will point to the nearest position, and in this case, this is inside the C or the C object. Okay, so object class C in hello package or here, or this at here, or this point to the nearest pointer in this class or class C. So inside this, we also have a function. This function is an anonymous function with no name, and we this at no name point to this, and I pronounce that what is this at no name? This at no name will point to the C class. Okay, what is this? Because okay, it is inside the C class is the object of the C class. And the same as the previous object, and because the no name function has no effect to the this, it has no effect to the this here. Okay, so the this here and this here is the same. So we also remember that we have another type of, we have a lambda function. And lambda is also a function, is also like a no-name function, and this is only point to the current class or C class or C object. Yes, and you print out, you call the function to C, and you see that the this at lambda and this at no-name, this up here, okay, all is the same in this hello module or hello package. Yes, it is in the hello package now. Okay, thank you very much for watching this lesson. Show you about, hi everybody, in this lesson I will talk about null safety, or how to work with nullable or non-nullable type in Kotlin. And let's start with a blind project, and now we want to add a variable, a null not null string. It is a normal string that cannot be null. It means that when you set this value to null, it will choose an error. So let's set up a little bit. A not null is equal null, so you cannot set to null, it will return error immediately. So, and what about how to set this null? For example, we have a nullable string. You only add the question that can be null. The question means that you have a question, not null or null, and okay, it can be null. So if you set this to null, it is okay, or you can set this to null. set up question to noon. Question means that noon or not noon. Yes, it can be noon. Okay, so you can also print out a nullable string. Yes, it will print that a nullable string is equal to null. And now I have a variable length, means the string length of a nullable string, and this will choose an error because it will be nil, and then the length cannot be get. And what can I do in this case? Now you can check whether the null string is null or not by using if. If it is not null, you can get the value by nullable string dot length, and else it will return to -1. So it is a very common use when you want to check a variable if not null. But okay, print out first. Okay, length is equal to -1, and this is a value when it is null, -1. So another case we can use common that you check safety to get the value, and then you use an NVIS operator. The NVIS operator means that set default value when null. When it is null, it uses the NVIS operator. So this is more concise, and in this case, if it is not null, what can I do? And in this case, a nullable, you make sure 100% that it is not null. So you can get the value by using exclamation double exclamation, means that you make sure that it is not null. You confirm that it is not null, then you can use it. Okay, so you can use it. Okay, because it is not null. But in the case it is null, you set it to null, and you also use double exclamation, so it will throw an error of null pointer exception. Is very common in Java programming language. Yes, so please use it whenever you ensure that it is not null. So what about the nullable list? We have a list of integer, and inside the integer the value can be null. So we have a 5, we have a 3, etc., and nulls and 7. Then we define the in list from nullable list dot filter, and filter non null means that it will automatically remove all the null element and get not null element. Yes, you can only use this function and print out in list. Okay, and you see that the output is every null element is removed. Okay, okay, and this lesson talk about the safety. Hi everybody, today I'm going to talk about type alias in Kotlin. Type alias means that you set a new name or another name for an existing type in Kotlin. Firstly, let's try to sample the example. Firstly, we remember that the name or the alias name always have uppercase, and the uppercase means that the first letter is uppercase. For example, the first letter here is uppercase, and this is a type of a set of integer inside. And I also have a string map. I name the string map Z, means that we have a mutable map of key and value. So the key has a type of k, and the value is string, and the string value can be nil or null. Okay, So firstly, I create a new string maps with type mutable map with type is string, key is string, and the value is also string. And we have some of the value is key 1 has value 1, key 2 has value 2, and key 3 has value 3, etc. So this string map will be set the value for the existing value for an existing key, and you see that it's at the same type. We have the key here is string, and you can use the alias here. But firstly, you can start to run. So you see that we have the value is key 1, key 2, with accordingly the value. Then I can use the alias here, string map. I can use the string map as the alias, and the alias here with the key is string. And you can use the string map or the original, it is okay, but uh, the alias will give you more easier to see. And here you have the same as before. Okay, and what about this? You can remember that it is a replacement for the string. The string map is a replacement for the mutable map string, and you can use this. Okay, and what about the class? We have a class A, and inside the class A we have the inner class X, and similarly we have the class B. Inside the class B we have the inner class S, and classes which has with the same name. We have the same name X, and how can I distinguish between the X from A and X from B? So inside this we have the initialization block with this is class H of A, and pre-now this is class S of E. So we have a type alias X of B is A dot X, means that the X of E, X of A, and we also have the X of B or the method or the class X of B. So it is B dot X, and so I can initialize it by initialize A class dot initialize X, and we can use it as normal, but you can use the alias by typing X of A is equal to here initialize A and call the alias, and two line code are the same, two way are the same. You can use alias on without alias with the same value and the same result. So we have X classic of A. So what about classic of B? I can initialize B object and calling the X of B. Using this we have X of B and initialize the object X of B. Okay, so now next time I will show you about the predicate. It is a lambda expression. You see that I can type alias for a lambda expression. The lambda expression here is the input is type, T is type, and the boolean is a return value, true or false. Then firstly I create a list of integer. We have a list of and filter, and inside the filter we have a sort lambda. We have a sort lambda it less than 0. It is a sort lambda, and I can use a predicate before for applying to this. By applying to this, you can copy this it here firstly run. This will give you the value of all of the element that larger than 0 or positive. Then you can use it by replacing with a predicate type alias. So you have to define the alias, then access using the alias. So we have a p is the alias, is a type alias of predicate, and you add the p to filter, then run. So we have the same value as before. Okay, so in this lesson I have just hi everybody. Today I will talk about coding convention in Kotlin, or some it means some of the rule when you write your code in Kotlin. So firstly we have a blind project, and I give you firstly a type and class will start with uppercase. It means that the class name or the type name, for example person, or the p always uppercase. Then it is the class has a few parameters, so you can write in a single line. So here we have one line. So single line means that if the class definition have a few arguments, and here you can use a for space or the space inside a comma here, or then you will have for space. For example, if you return here, we see that it is a for space. You can use a tab or the space in your keyboard. Okay, and what about the space here? We have one space here, is a space between the return type and the function name, and the return type after the semicolon. So about the public function, you have to add the documentation to this function. This is a default is a public function or public method. So you have to add the documentation here, so anyone use your library or your work can use. So for example, we have the document here is a simple document. We have the property is a list of property. We have the return to the value type, and for example here boolean. So the return here is a successful or unsuccessful. So what about the class with long header? It is a class with long or many input properties. So we have each property in separate line. For here one line, and the surname in one line. So it means that here the closing parenthesis in a separate line or in a new line. And what about the interface? For example, we define an interface working, and we have a class that implements the interface and inherit from the person. So the constructor always first, and then interface 1, interface 2, interface 3, etc. after the constructor. And what about the function? And unit means that no return value. It is something like the void in C programming language. So you can omit, you can remove this or omit this, and using this, so you no need to use unit in this case because it does not return the value. Okay, this is something like void function in C programming language. What are common case for use? It means that do not add the underscore. So here we have the p is lowercase. It means that the object variable is start with the lowercase, and avoid to use underscore in name. For example here underscore, and avoid underscore or do not use underscore in name. Okay, so uh, now we have a list of integer 1 2 3 4 5 symbol, and in this list, if you use the lambda expression, and you have to add two space before and after the lambda expression or the lambda function, and you have to add two space from the start and in the end of the filter or the lambda expression. So remember this. Here, if the lambda is short, you can use this for short lambda. You only need the implementation for short lambda here. So two-way is okay. Two is the same. But the second. Hi everybody. In this lesson, I will talk about how to code Java code from your Kotlin project. And here we have a Kotlin file, and inside this I import the library for Java. For example, it is Java package, java.util, and all of the class and function inside the util. So you can use a list. For example, this is a list of Java, not Kotlin, and you can code it inside your Kotlin project. And you can also use array list and initializing an array list of integer and a list of integer, and you can copy from list to the array list like you work in Java. For example, in Kotlin you can go into the item inside the list, and you can call function add to add item into the array list, and then print out the array list content to the screen by print line array list here. And you can use some of the property and function inside a type of Java classes. And here you have the array list output is 1 2 3 4 5 sample. Okay, and you can use the field in Java. You have the field size, the field size of list, and this is a field in Java. You can call it as a property in Kotlin. And you can inside the for loop you can also assign the value to the value of list plus 1. So this is the setter in Java. When you call this setter in Java like the setter in Kotlin, and this is a getter, you get the value, then this is a getter, and here in this line get and set are called, or setter and getter are called. So after running, you see that the array list here, the new array list copy from the list and plus 1. Now you have a calendar. A calendar object is a singleton object in Java. You init the object only one time. You can init this only one time. And inside this I can call the field in Java. For example, first is first day of week. It's a field. It's a Java field, not a property in Kotlin. And after calling this, you can call this, and you can use a getter. It is the same. For example, you can add the same, and it is a setter for the field day, first day of week, and this is the same. You can use a getter or the field has the same result. You can use it. Both of them is okay. Then you can right click and run this file after weather list. So you see that the first day of week is 1, and the first day of week is 1. Okay, it is the same when you use getter, get first day of week, or field first day of week. And all of the Java type in Kotlin as converted to a platform type, and The platform type, if you want to add to casting, you can also cast to using the as cast to a Java object, for example java.lang.object, and this is the casting to cast from Java object to and you can use a Java object casting from the Kotlin object, and you can call the notify function of the object. Okay, and this is the interface clonable interface in Java, and you can implement the interface in the Kotlin using override. Inside this we have the clone. The clone function is a function in the clonable interface in Java. So you clone the new object and set the property as the first property, then return to the new object after cloning from the first object. So you can use this. You can initialize an object, a person with the name Huang, and you can create a clone person, clone from the person object, and you have to public this function by using public this function clone. So after that you can print to the screen about the person and the clone person. These two object has the same content and different memory location. So we have after the add we see the memory location in hexadecimal. In hexacode we have the memory location for person and clone person. It is hi everybody. In this lesson I will tell you about how to call Kotlin from your Java code, and let's start with a blank Kotlin file. And in this lesson firstly I will create a Java class. So this is a Java class with extension .java, so I call this Java example, and inside this class I will define the basic class with static void, and inside the void main is a file that running here. You can run this file directly to from this, and I call the system.out.println to print a string to the screen. And inside the Kotlin example we define a package, and I use the annotation JVM name or the Java virtual machine name. Java virtual machine name means that this annotation that sets the package name hello, and inside this I have the a class in Kotlin. This is the very basic class in Kotlin, and I want to use it in your Java code. So inside the Java code I initialize an object by importing. This is automatically import when you type person, and you can change to start to import all inside the package. And I initialize the person object with a new person, and this is how to initialize an object of Kotlin inside Java code. And this is Java code. You can see that I can call the getter the get age, get last name, get first name, and getter here is property of this. Then the property inside the class will be changed to the getter in Java, or property in Kotlin will be changed to Java. Okay, then you see that this is the output. You can see that's the initialized block in Kotlin, and this is the output in Java. So you can use in Java. It is very easy to call the Kotlin, the class in the Kotlin. So it is a convenient way to use the annotation JVM name or Java Virtual Machine name, then now if you want to make field in Java, how can I do this? I can use the annotation JVM field or Java Virtual Machine field, and this credit card number will become the field in Java, and this is a field in Java using this annotation. So inside the Java code, you can print out to that dot credit card, and this is a field in Java. You can convert it to field and run. Okay, so in this case you see that we have the credit card name here. So if you create a new Kotlin file, for example Kotlin example 2, we have another Kotlin file, and inside this Kotlin file I also use the annotation JVM name, Java Virtual Machine name, which the hello is a package name of the hello. So here I can define more function. Here we have a function in file 2 is a public function, and this is a function in Kotlin. So in the Java code I can clone this Kotlin function because it is public and it has an annotation. So you can clone this, and you click here to automatically import it from the Kotlin package, so you can use it as a public function, then run. Okay, so this is content of the Kotlin function file 2. Okay, so what about we have another way. Here we have a class, this class name calculation, and inside this class I will define some more property. We have a letter init property, or the letter initialization in Kotlin. It is a random string, and it is not have to initialize now, but you can initialize here by firstly create a new object of calculation, and this object of calculation you can call the function by dot a random string. Yes, the property a random string, you can set to it a new value ABC. Okay, so inside this I can define the companion, but the companion object do not have in Java, so the JVM field will convert this to static field in Java. For example, we have a variable p is a constant. The variable p here you can access from this as a static property or static field. So we have calculation.p, like you call a static field in Java. So this is a static field in Java through the companion object in Kotlin. So run. So you see that the p number is 3.1416. Okay. So you can define a constant. For example, we have a constant version, and we also have a static function. This is a static function in Kotlin, and if you want to use it in Java, you have to add more annotation here. You have to add annotation for this by using annotation JVM static or Java Virtual Machine static. So inside this you can call the constant version is a constant, and running. So we have a version here, and you can clone the static function here. So static function inside the companion object, you can dot function name a static function, and this is one way. And the second way is using companion, you can dot companion, and two way are the same, and give the same result. So you run. Yes, you see what we have. Static function in Kotlin, we have the same result when you use companion or not companion. So what about the next? We have the function with default parameter. For example, we have the default parameter inside a function, and firstly I define a function, a function A. The function A has input parameter A, B, and C. B and C is has a default parameter, and you can use it annotation JVM overload or Java virtual machine overloading, and then with this we overload the function with the same name and then different parameter. So inside the Java you can clone this function and add import the package, and we have the overloading 1. Overloading 2, we have the same name but 2 parameter, and overloading 3, we have same function name with 3 parameter. So this is the overloading function. In Java you can use the default parameter in Kotlin. Yes, so you see that the output here is overloading function in Java. Okay, this lesson will end now. Thank you very much for watching.